Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu to some of you and peace to the rest of you. Black heart sign and black in. This is Ayesha Curry. I caught wind over here of your comments about not getting enough attention from men, even though you don't want these men, simply because your husband gets attention from women. Mrs. Curry, I'm paying you attention right now, and it may not be the kind of attention you want, but I'm paying it to you because, well, frankly, you need it. I'm paying you the kind of attention that you need, not the kind you're looking for from other men. You're married. You've got kids. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that you were sidestepping and friend zoning Steph Curry until it became apparent that he was going to be drafted. And if that's true, that makes it even worse. If you were friend zoning him and treating him like a younger brother, but he loved you, and then you decided to give him a shot because he was about to get drafted, you are lucky he agreed to marry you. I recorded something that you have not heard, I'm sure, and you may never hear this recording either, Miss Curry. But I recorded something yesterday, and I was talking about the gender dynamics, and I only talk about it within the black community anyway, because frankly, the more the white males and females begin to argue with each other, the better it is for black people. Mrs. Curry, I said yesterday that at the end of the day, when women who have flat chests buy a new chest from a plastic surgeon and they look better and they get more attention from men, they change their attitude. And the men who may have had a chance before now don't have a chance with the same woman simply because she knows that she has more options. And that every time a woman has more options, her attitude changes. And it is the converse, actually, the same thing, but the flip side of the same coin. When a woman loses options in men, now all of a sudden men she didn't want before, she would be willing to give a shot. I've mentioned this on more than one occasion, but this is one of the first times I mentioned that particular phenomena on a recording and posted it up. Mrs. Curry, if you're hearing this recording at all, you are exactly the reason that many men are deciding they don't want to get married, period. You do not know how lucky you are. If you did or did not friend zone Steph Curry, whether you did or did not, whatever the case is, you got married to a man and he wound up making it. And this man is not caught with any other women, which it's safe to say is because he's not with other women. You're always around each other, especially in public. You're at his games if you're not at your cooking show or y'all are at home. Now, you're complaining about this, so chances are it is true. And I'm going to take your complaint as a confession, and that means that I'm going to believe your complaint. You're not cheating. Chances are he's not cheating, but you know that women are sitting out there throwing themselves at him. And you're mad about the attention from men you're not getting because you want to compete with your husband. What this shows you, Mrs. Curry, is that men are superior to women when it comes to respecting marriages. That's what that says. You're wealthy, he's wealthy. You're famous, he's famous. People know both of your names. You're not getting attention from men, he's getting attention from women. That's what it means. This just proves the case. You shot feminism down at this point. And you've made an argument without even knowing that you were making it for the traditional gender roles. Be they the Western ones or the Eastern ones, take your pick. You've made an argument on their behalf, whether you meant to or not. You just confessed because you are not unattractive to look at. You're not ugly, even though you may not be my type. Personally, it's not your fault. It's just I have a different type. I like women my age and older. I'm older than you are. I like women darker than you, even though I'm about the same shade as your husband. So these are things that are not your fault. And because men's tastes do vary, you don't have to worry about how you look when it comes to men. You have to worry about the kind of person you are. And you have just now shown with your complaint that that is seriously lacking. This is a new day and age, Mrs. Curry. This is the day and age in which men are wising up to what women's nature is really like. And men are wising up to the subconscious conditioning of women. And we're saying we don't have to tolerate it. If men have to have game and a rap to be able to manipulate women that like them into feeling okay for liking them, then these days, because of gender equality, we have every right, and we know we do, to say that women have to have game. And we have every right to scrutinize women the way they scrutinize men. And I'm telling you that that scrutiny can be very harsh, and you just failed it. By your own standards, by the standards of most nice looking women around the world, let alone the United States, you failed. You got up butthurt and complained because men are showing respect for your marriage when women are not showing respect for your marriage. Men are showing respect for you and Mr. Steph, while women are not showing you any respect. And you're complaining. And you're sitting up here and confessing this. You just helped score a goal against your own team, meaning against your own gender. There is no reason now for Steph to stay with you. You just shot that down. You sat here and complained about it publicly. Even if I don't want these men, I still like the attention. What you're saying is, even with the men you don't want, you still want the option. That's something that is only good for when you are planning to leave your husband or you're a widow. That's it. This is something that only single women should have to worry about. Women who are single because they're widowed, or women who are single because they're divorced or they broke up with their man. And I'm going to tell you now, Miss Curry, you are lucky that I am Muslim. And the reason you're lucky is because if I wasn't Muslim, I wouldn't record anything to you. I would be recording this to Mr. Curry, and I would be telling him, listen, bruh, if she did not friend zone you before y'all dated, you need to leave her and drop her. That's what I would be saying. Now imagine if you did. If that rumor is true, that he was your little brother till he was getting ready to get drafted, then I would really say, you know what, man? What you should do is you should move to another country, all right? Establish residency in another nation where the divorce laws are better, where better for men, where polygamy is legal. Go live in that nation, marry you another wife, and don't divorce her. Then this way she has to file divorce against you. She has to do it in your jurisdiction, and the divorce is then subject to those laws of that nation, and you got another wife. And don't grant her the divorce until you have consummated the marriage with this other wife, because the best way to beat a woman is not with your fist, it's with another woman. Now, that is a saying in multiple languages. It's a saying in the Pedi language spoken in South Africa. Someone told me that they say it in Zulu as well. I know that it's a saying in somewhere in the Middle East, but I don't know which language, because Arabic is not the only language in the Middle East. So the point here, Mrs. Curry, is that you sat up here and you just proved it. You want to beat your husband with other men, even though he ain't running around on you. Because if he was running around on you, somebody would have said something. Somebody would have, that really would have leaked out. That would have been all over everything. Now, you don't see Mrs. James, meaning LeBron's wife, saying some dumb stuff like this, do you? I bet you he's getting more attention than she is. And it ain't because of anything wrong with her either. I don't remember what she looks like, but it ain't because of anything wrong with her. Yet and still, she's not complaining about this. Jordan's wife never complained about neither one of his wives ever complained about this. Never did. Jeff Bezos' wife didn't complain because he could go out and cheat with somebody else and she couldn't do it. Now, she got half that bag, but he was actually cheating on her, and she did help him build the fortune, so I understand in that case why she got half. Understandably so. But in your case, Steph ain't running around on you that anybody knows of. And honestly, when people do cheat, there's a certain demeanor that they have, and he ain't got that demeanor. Steph, as far as everybody can tell, Steph is faithful to you. You're at his games. Now, when does the public have the most access to him? When he's out in public. That's at a game or when he goes out shopping. Now, people have seen you out shopping, and they've seen you together out shopping. That's what's going on. You got the cooking show. You mad because the guys on the set, the cameramen and other men that you don't even want aren't paying you attention. These men know you don't want them. Why should they pay you any extra attention? Men are wising up. They're just not as stupid as they used to be. You don't want these other men either. You just want the option. You want the option to turn men down. That's what it is. And this is something that you're not the only woman to want. This is something wanted by many women in different parts of the world, but especially Western women want this option to turn men down. It's like that's where you get your kicks. And I would have thought you were deeper than this. Apparently, you're just as shallow. This is some little middle school girls type stuff. And I'm just shocked to see it in somebody as grown as you. But then again, maybe that would explain why I don't even want somebody younger than me. I want someone my age and older, and I'm in my 40s. Most men don't. I'm unique in that regard because I have to be. Because I was one of the first men to be able to see the relative immaturity of women. I saw that before there was ever such a term as red pill, MGTOW, IBMOR, SYSBM, or anything like that. I saw this when I was a teenager. I tried to tell other men about this stuff, and they said I was crazy. Oh, nigga, you stupid. Take what you can get. Oh, bruh, she like you. Yeah, but she's inappropriately younger than I am. Yeah, man, but that don't matter. Women always like guys that are older. They mature faster than we do. No, they don't. Look at this. This thing of you just got to turn guys down, that's some middle school stuff. And now look at you. You want to sit up and laugh with other women about how you told somebody to get lost. And, you know, honestly, look, Mrs. Curry, single women might be happy about that part. They may not, depending on who the man is, but they're not happy that they don't have the man they want. You've got them. Wait, that's it. I was about to say you've got the man you want. That's it. You don't want Steph. Why don't you come out and tell him you didn't want him? Just go ahead and say it. Just say, look, Steph, and if you don't want him, you should really be calling him Mr. Curry and go back to your maiden name too. You should say, look, Mr. Curry, you're a nice guy. We've been good friends, but I didn't want you like that. I went ahead and accepted and gave you a shot because you were becoming successful financially and something you were good at. And it was a good opportunity for me. And I realized that I have things that these other women want in life. I realized that a lot of single women would kill to be in my position. But you know what? You're actually their type. You're not my type. So I don't want half the bag. I'm not looking for that. I got my cooking show. I'm straight. I'm going to go out here and get what is my type. If I can find it at my age after having 3 kids, you go ahead and find a woman whose type you are. There are plenty of them out there. I would say that's the best thing to do. But Mrs. Curry, the best thing to do, and I know what I'm saying is insulting, but you need this. Tell him he ain't your type. You don't want him. Whatever the thing is, you don't want him. And let him have the children. Don't run off with the kids. Don't do that. I mean, I'm not saying don't visit them. I'm not telling you to cut your kids out your life, but don't fight them for the custody. Just say, hey, you know what? I got my cooking show. You got the custody. The kids will soon be old enough to go back and forth at their own will anyway. All they'll need is a car and transportation. And at that point, just let them come and stay where they want. That's what you do. That's how you pull that off. So you go ahead and just tell him, I want a peaceful divorce. I'm not going after the bag. I got my money. Kids back and forth. You could be the primary custodian of the kid. You could be the custodial parent. Get you someone whose type you are, because you ain't my type. And that's why I'm unhappy. And I'm going to see if I can find what's my type. And after that point, see who winds up replacing the other one first. You need to learn to shuck up and leave well enough alone. And you're not the only woman in the world that needs to do this. But right now, you're the one that's the most public at the time I'm recording this. You've just showed your tail. I'm not talking about you showed your butt cheeks. You showed your tail, walking around here acting like you an adult. I should say you showed your diapers. You showed your dirty diapers, actually, because what you said is so damn childish. And one of the things that's gotten Western men worked up is that we got to do all this. We got to be so much and do so much to impress women that ain't even grown women mentally, but they're children. And you are an example of that. Look at what he had to be. If you didn't friend zone him beforehand, I've heard rumors y'all dated from middle school. I've heard rumors that y'all started in college. Whatever the case is, if you did not friend zone him before, still look at what he had to be. Look at what he has to be to impress these other women. Because I can tell you now, I'm about the same shade as Steph Curry. My hair is the same color as his, and it's much straighter. And I wasn't a star basketball player. My sport was swimming. Black women didn't know that. They had no clue. They didn't know I could swim for hours and hours like a shark. Turned out I wasn't too bad at boxing either. Black women didn't know that because I didn't walk around starting fights with people. I didn't get into fist fights till my last 2 years of high school. And when I started the second fist fight, which was 2 weeks after the first, that's when I started to see a change in how black women were treating me. I should say black girls. We were teenagers at that time. I, morally speaking, was a man and they were still little girls. That's when I saw it. So the things I had to fight with other black men. I had to be self-destructive against the way I was raised for that to happen. So you look at what men have to do and what men have to be in order to impress you all, and you're not even grown to begin with. You just sat here and proved it. You became the celebrity example of that. It's just like when Sierra, even though Russell was the one that asked to be introduced to Sierra, the fact is that Sierra saw Russell as not being the same alpha as the other guys. How do you know? Who had her first kid? Who fathered her first child? Future, not Russell. Look at the body language of Sierra when she is photographed with 50 Cent versus when she's photographed with Russell Wilson, and when she's photographed with Future. Look at the body language, and you tell me if she was more into Future than she now is into Russell. And Russell is not even, Russell's like your husband. He's a nice guy. He's very moral and that sort of, he's very wholesome, but he's not nobody's simp and he ain't nobody's beta male cuck either. Well, he shouldn't be, but he's seen as beta because of a persona that he does not promote. That's what's going on right now at this point. And you became another example of that. And the thing is, you never even lived your life the way Sierra lived hers beforehand. So that means you don't have to go through the baggage. You didn't have to go through any of this. And now if you go through a hard time because of what you said, you deserve it. That's the right thing to happen. If Mr. Curry gets up and bounces on you, that's the right thing that he should have done. Only reason he should stay with you now is either because you've done a whole hell of a lot beforehand, so he can afford to give you a pass because of what you've done for him, or because he doesn't want to give up half that bag. And frankly, if he ain't your type, that means you ain't bending over like you used to. So honestly, I wouldn't stay with someone like that. Or the other reason he could stay with you is, and I'm only saying that this is something that might happen because as a Muslim, I can't promote this, but he could stay with you if you're willing to just fut the shuck up and keep the house clean and cook, but he can go and get somebody else and bend over the couch. Those are the only reasons to stay with you at this point, because you screwed up. You could have kept your damn mouth shut. Or you could have said, this is what I've struggled with and wrestled with, but it's wrong. It's not his fault. It's something I got to fix. Now, you could have said that as a confession. People might have reacted, but at least you would have been saying it's wrong. It's a bad instinct, and I'm going to fight it. I wouldn't have anything to record at that point. I might say, well, maybe you could not put this out in public, but then again, it could be a signal to other women, but I wouldn't have to record what I'm now recording if I had to record anything at all. Hell, people probably would not have heard the statement because it wouldn't be so damn outrageous. But what you said is a bit of an outrage. They're throwing themselves at my husband and I ain't getting no male attention. Well, good. It's good you're not getting any. Not in that regard. When it's business, when it's genuinely a friendship, when it's a male relative, that's fine. That's the kind of male attention you're supposed to get at this point. Men generally understand. The assumption that men have is Mr. Curry, taller than average, much wealthier than average, and knows you better than other guys do, is your type. Not only are you married to him, but he is your type. This is the assumption that goes through men's minds. What's going through your mind when you want this attention from other men? What you think men are just naturally supposed to be sluts all the time? No kind of respect, no boundaries. That must be what you're thinking. These men know you're married, and you're mad because they won't ignore that. The hell kind of disrespect do you want men to commit? If these men paid you attention, you'd have something to say. You just want to be able to complain and say, oh, these men are sweating me. They all up in my DM, all thirsty niggas. That's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to brag about how you turn guys down because that's your power over men. You want men that you'll never give attention to, from men you would never notice, to somehow still notice you. The hell kind of good does that do for them or you? That's what you're looking for. Miss Curry, you're not grown. You're not an adult. I shouldn't even be calling you by your last name. But if you I mean, you said this publicly, so I really don't know how you can salvage it now at this point. But if you go to your husband and you say to him, I'm not grown, I'm not an adult, what I said proves that, and you're not my type, and I married you for the wrong reasons, and that I shouldn't have done that. And so now you have every right to go and find someone whose type you are and who is your type. Get out there and go get him, Tiger, because I'm about to go and get him, and I'm not going to ask you for the bag. And the kids, look, you can be the custodial parent. And when they're old enough and can go back and forth, they can come see me whenever they want. My door's always open to them, but I'm going to let you be the custodial parent as long as I could visit them so that, the kids got to have they got a fair shot, and that's what's best for the kids. If you can go to your husband and say this, that's the best thing you can do at this point. And say to him, I screwed up. Something came out. I didn't think about it. But I screwed up and I meant what I said. And that's my fault. I should have told you back in college, you know what? My type actually is still another type of guy, even if you're making more money than them. And that's just not fair for you. Even if you are in love with me and I accept to go and date you and then to marry you, I will be doing it because of the bag and because of the money and because other women. I'm not that grown yet. I gave you the wrong answer back in college. What I should have said is, I'm simply not that grown. I want what I want, and I'm going to go get it even if it doesn't make me the money. And see, you sidestepped a lot of stuff. I mean, from what I understand, you made a smart choice when you agreed to marry him, but a smart choice still has to be something that you agree with doing. And that means, so you're not supposed to marry a man that's not your type. And you just sat up here and told us subconsciously that he ain't your type. Now, if I'm wrong in interpreting that, then you need to go ahead and say, no, he is my type. I'm just vain. I'm not fully grown yet. No, he's my type. I want him. I just want to still turn men down because I'm still vain and I'm still a child. And that's what I need to fix. Now, if that's the case, come out and say that and tell people that. You really, really need to stop with the BS. You're messing up. Seriously. If I was you, I'm not going to lie. If I was you, I'd just go ahead and tell him. And if I was Mr. Curry, I'd bounce. If I was Mr. Curry, I would bounce. I'd go establish residency in a jurisdiction in which the divorce laws would favor me and not you. You'd get no bag. The kids are mine. And I'd marry another wife. If I was Mr. Curry right now, let's say when I couldn't go and I couldn't bounce, then what I would do is I'd go and I would off the books marry another wife, and you just have to deal with a co-wife. That's it. You go have to deal with a co-wife. And if you don't want to bend over, fine. Matter of fact, I hope you don't. I'll go over there because I'm her type. That's probably what I would be doing. The thing is this, what I would not do is sit here and respect you publicly and just make it easy. You got a man, I got to say, you got a 1 in a million. You really do. Frankly, if I was Mr. Curry looking like we do, I would have gone extra hard in the paint so that every other woman afterwards, whoever I marry next, would know not to say some stupid stuff like that, because I wouldn't do that to her. I wouldn't diss her like that. And I wouldn't say, well, I want attention from other women, even though I don't want these other women. The hell I look like saying some dumb stuff like that. That would be really stupid. If a man said something like that, you look at him like he's not a man, and yet you said the same thing. That's the difference between kids and adults. You didn't think before you spoke. And that tells me that the reason you haven't grown up is because you haven't had to. Nobody's made you grow up. And see, you're lucky you got him, because you get someone like me, I'm going to make you grow up, or I'm not going to marry you in the first place. Or if I marry and find out you a child, I'm going to make you grow up or you gone. And half a bag, you can skip that. Because the minute they say you owe this much and you owe that much, I'm taking everything, going out the country. Now you come along and try to take my wealth from another nation. That's what's going to happen. You ain't going to get the bag. You ain't going to disrespect me like that and then take half my resources. I hope you signed a prenup. And I hope he doesn't, and I hope that there were a bunch of witnesses so you can't get it thrown out. Because, I mean, frankly, you just sat up here and showed why people don't get married. It's a good deal for women and a bad deal for men. And you just sat here and proved it. Hopefully what I've said will be of benefit to you. To the rest of the audience, peace out and salam alaikum. Black heart.